Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Eva and this is Eva Essays. Pretty cool, right? Anyways, as you saw in my intro, today's video essay will be answering the question, is West Side Story a more apt retelling of Shakespeare's classic tragedy for 21st century audiences? Now, what is Shakespeare's classic tragedy, you may ask? Well, it's the one and only Romeo and Juliet. In this video, I'll be comparing and talking about the different aspects of Romeo and Juliet and West Side Story to prove that West Side Story is a more apt retelling of the classic tragedy for the viewing purposes of 21st century audiences. Excuse me, I believe before we start, it would be incredibly useful to provide our viewers with a quick background of West Side Story and Romeo and Juliet. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Romeo and Juliet is a play written by William Shakespeare that is estimated to have been written between 1591 and 1596. It is described by shakespeare.org.uk as the classic story of boy meets girl, girl's family hates boy's family hates girl's family, boy kills girl's cousin, boy and girl kill themselves. Spoilers? The story is over 400 years old. If the viewers don't know the plot by now, that is their fault. On to West Side Story. Spoilers, I guess. The original West Side Story movie was released October 18th, 1961. However, we will be talking about the one released on December 10th, 2021. It is described by Google as a musical in which a modern-day Romeo and Juliet are involved in New York street gangs. On the harsh streets of the Upper West Side, two gangs battle for control of the turf. The situation becomes complicated when a gang member falls in love with a rival's sister. As you can tell, the two pieces of media follow a similar story. Thanks for that information. Now on to our first argument. The first and most important reason why West Side Story is better for 21st century audiences is its stunning music, dance, and costuming. In today's day and age, people are going about their lives expecting to be blown out of the water by everything they see. And if they aren't, they're a lot less likely to remember it, because who'd remember that boring thing when you could see 20 more interesting things immediately after? As much as I absolutely adore the theater, and by extension Romeo and Juliet, for your everyday persons, Shakespeare isn't that interesting and can often be hard to follow. This is why singing, dancing, and costumes are important. The music draws you in and plays up whatever is happening in the story. The dancing catches your eye and keeps you interested in what's going on. And the costumes are so bright and character-specific that they truly support everything West Side Story is trying to portray. For instance, the jets are usually seen in cool colors, while the sharks are usually seen in warm colors. And when Maria and Tony start to fall in love, they start switching colors, with each of them being seen in the opposing side's color. When compared to all of that amazingness, what does Romeo and Juliet even have? Hard to understand dialogue and a slight bit of drama? That's what I thought. You know what? That's a pretty good point. While all of those theatrical aspects are certainly appealing to the short attention spans of modern audiences, I think there is a more important argument that has yet to be shared in regards to West Side Story's superior ability to pique the interest of 21st century audiences, and that is the more modern setting in comparison to Romeo and Juliet. While West Side Story is set around 65 years ago in 1957, it is considerably more modern than Romeo and Juliet, which was set in 1591. This means that the setting of West Side Story will be more relatable to 21st century audiences than Romeo and Juliet. Additionally, given the fact that West Side Story was released in 2021, it has the influence of modern minds working on it. This means that aspects of the movie, like the plot and characters, will be more appealing to modern audiences. This is because they were worked on by modern people. This 21st century influence on West Side Story also gives it a leg up in comparison to other film adaptations of Romeo and Juliet. This is because the most recent popular adaptations to be released include Romeo plus Juliet in 1996 and Romeo and Juliet in 2011, neither of which do a great job at measuring up to West Side Story. What do you mean Romeo and Juliet doesn't measure up to West Side Story? You know what? Never mind. West Side Story is better to tell the story of Romeo and Juliet to 21st century audiences because the characters in the movie reflect what our 21st century world looks like. Yes, modern productions of Romeo and Juliet that are produced by theater departments are going to have more diversity, but the original story Shakespeare wrote didn't have anyone in mind other than white people. As a result, West Side Story is better for 21st century audiences because it features people who look like the world around us. Anyways, I think it's about time we wrap this little essay thing up. To recap what has been said, the first reason is the fact that West Side Story is more eye-catching and entertaining with the singing, dancing, and costume. Second, West Side Story has a more modern setting than Romeo and Juliet and is influenced by its 21st century production. Third, West Side Story has a more diverse cast, which gives it more opportunities for 21st century audiences to see themselves represented. All in all, West Side Story is better for 21st century audiences. Okay, that's all for this video, folks. Thank you so much for watching this video essay on Romeo and Juliet and West Side Story. I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe I'll see you around.
We'll tear up the town. We'll be in back of you, boy. Right. We're gonna flatten them good. Right.
Warm the tomb.
Sperm the worm.
And then we'll have us a ball tonight.
We're gonna rock it tonight.